Hello, we're going to be doing the Chapter 1 math lesson together. And the first thing we're going to do before we even start the lesson is we're going to get our math paper ready. So again, we're folding hamburger, hamburger, hamburger. So we do 3 hamburgers and then we end up, hamburger folds, and then we end up with a piece of paper that has 8 sections. And what we're going to do is use our ruler. I'm going to use my ruler so that you can really see my 8 sections. Okay, so I'm going to draw those in. And I'm also probably going to draw them in on my the back side of my paper as well, so that you can really see. So this first chapter, chapter 1.0, is a chapter that is going to tell us about number sense. And we're going to look at whole numbers because it's the beginning of math. So we're taking it kind of simple. So I'm going to start out with my name always on the paper. And I'm going to write on here lesson number 1.0 so that when I turn my paper into Karen, she can see exactly what I'm doing. So when we have a lesson that ends with a 0, it's usually a lesson, an introduction lesson in the math book where they're going to show you things that you should have already known, that you should have already learned in 3rd grade. And they're just making sure that you learned everything that you were supposed to learn in 3rd grade. So it's kind of like a little mini review. So on page 1, it says working with whole numbers, and then we see our solar system. We see the sun here, Jupiter here, Earth is over here, and we're seeing Venus right here. Here's Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and we have a little dude in a spaceship, and he's saying the distance around Earth is 24,092 miles. I wonder what the distance to the farthest planet from the sun. What is the distance to the farthest planet to the sun? Our big idea, which is at the bottom of the page, it's always important for you to know what the main idea is of the chapter we're working on. And when we're done with this chapter, you'll be able to read, compare, and order numbers according to their place value of their digits. We'll also learn to add and subtract multi-digit numbers. So this first little part of the chapter is just a little bit of a review to see what went on in 3rd grade and to make sure what your idea of number sense and place value is. So they're going to review a little bit with you, and then they're going to ask you some questions. So we're going to start to recall our prior knowledge. We're writing numbers in 3 forms. So there are 3 ways to write numbers. The first way is called word form. It looks like writing. So a number would look like this: TWOTHOUSAND, comma, THREEHUNDRED, space, SEVEN. So that's word form. It's written in language and in letters, right? And that's unusual for math because usually math is a language that is written in numbers. Then we have standard form, and this looks just like a regular number. The number is 2,307, right? And so that is, standard form looks just like a number, just like the number we're used to seeing during math. Now, expanded form, you can see we're using this little place value picture to show us expanded form. How much is the 2 worth in this place, well, it's worth 2,000, right? These little cubes are worth 2,000. So expanded form shows us that the 2 in 2,307 is worth 2,000. Here I have my hundreds. This number 3 is in the hundreds place, so it's worth 300. I have nothing in the tens place, so I don't need to worry about that. And I have just 7 little cubes in the ones place, so they're worth 7 because they're in the ones place. So this is something that you should have a pretty good understanding of. And notice how they only went to thousands, because that's what you worried about in second and third grade, right? We're going to start, when we move on, we're going to start learning about 10,000s and 100,000s. The other thing you were supposed to know how to do by the time you reach fourth grade is count, right? Most of you know how to count pretty well by ones, but this time, so we're looking at counting by ones with more complicated numbers, not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're looking at 5,101, 5,102, 5,103, 5,104. Now, you notice how I didn't use the word and. I didn't say 5,101. We are never going to use the word and in conjunction with place value. We want to leave the and out because we only use and when we're talking about decimals. That's kind of important because in fourth grade and fifth grade and in upper grades, and is secret code for a decimal. Whenever you hear the word and, it means there's a decimal there. There are no decimals in any of these numbers, so we're not going to say and when we're saying them or when we're using word form. All right? Now we're going to count by tens. 2001, 2011, 2021, 2031. So in other words, we're adding 10 each time. The previous one, we added 1 each time, didn't we? Now we're adding 10 each time. Now we're adding 100 each time. 4,200, 4,300, 4,400, 4,500. So we've added 100 each time. Now we're going to count on by thousands. So we're going to add 1,000 each time. That's the pattern. 3,800, 4,800, 5,800, 6,800. That's a pretty easy concept, and I think most of you probably have a pretty good handle on that. We're simply worrying about counting, and we're counting by ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Eventually, we might be counting by 10,000s or by 100,000s by the time we get to the end of the chapter. Here's another thing you should have learned about: finding the value of each digit in a number. So this is giving you a really clear review. If I have a 4 here in the thousands place, 4 stands for 4,000s, and it looks like this, 4,000. If I have a 7 in the hundreds place, 7 stands for 700s, or this number. 700 is 700. 2 stands for 2 tens, or 20, and 8 stands for 8 ones, or 8. So depending on which place a digit has, that is going to tell you how much value the digit has. And that's why this is often referred to as place value, because this 4 here is not in the ones place. If it were in the ones place, it would be worth 4. Because it's in the thousands place, it's worth 4,000. All right, that's a concept that is a little bit more sophisticated. All right, now, one of the things that we do is we can compare numbers using a place value chart. So if I have these two numbers, I can make a little place value chart and I can line them up, right? And I can tell which number is greater, or lesser, by looking at the digits. And I'm always going to start over here on the left, and I'm going to say, well, both of these are 2. When they're the same, I'm going to move over to the next place value, the next lowest place value. 9 and 6. So I can say 9's greater than 6, so that means 2,910 is greater than 2,688. Sometimes kids get lazy and they don't want to stack the numbers up, but I will tell you that stacking the numbers up makes this a lot easier. So we can say that this top number is greater than the bottom number. We could also say the bottom number is lesser than the greater number. They are definitely not equal because right here in the hundreds place, it's telling us they're not equal. All right. Now, one of the last things they want you to be able to do is to complete a pattern by finding a rule. And the way that I do that is I look for the relationships between the numbers, right? So if I'm looking at 4,182, 4,382, 4,582, I can tell that I'm adding 200 each time. With each new number, I've added 200 to it. So now we have a missing number. What do you think the missing number will be if we know that we have 4,582 and we have 4,982? What's the missing number going to be? If we have a 5 here in the hundreds place and we're adding by 2, that would be 500 plus 200 is going to be 700. So I think my missing number is going to be 4,782. Notice how I didn't say any ands. Don't use any ands when you're doing this. Okay, so we're going to do a quick check, and we will do the quick check. Normally in class, we would do quick checks with a partner, right? You might have a partner that you'd get to know a little bit better, and your partner would chat with you, and you'd kind of learn a little bit about each other, and you'd learn how, I call them elbow partners. It's whoever's sitting by your elbow, right? So your elbow partner would be somebody that you'd get to know really well. And then after 3 weeks, I'd move you and you'd get a new elbow partner. So I'm going to be your elbow partner for today with my big fat elbow, my old lady elbow. So because you don't have a neighbor sitting next to you. And so I'm going to be your elbow partner. So what I think we'll do is we're going to do the problems together. And the way we're going to do that is I'm going to give you a little time between each problem for you to do the problem, and then you're going to be able to use my work to check your work, okay? So let's put number 1 right here. We already set up our paper, and we're going to put number 1 right here. And I'm going to do number 1 for you, and then you're going to be my partner, and you're going to do number 2 for me, okay? All right, I will do number 2 off camera, and then you can check your work. So let's look at number 1. It says express each number in word form. So I have this, and my way of doing that is to only worry about anything that's to the left of the comma. So I'm going to cover my fingers over the rest, and I'm going to say, how do I say that number? Well, I say it 5, and because I have a comma there, I know that it's not worth 5, it's worth 5,000. So I'm going to write 5,000, and I'm going to put a comma because there's a comma there. Now I'm going to cover over this part of the number, and I'm going to say this number, and that I say 691. So I'm going to write 600 and it looks like that when it's written. All right, now you're going to do this one, and I'm going to do it too, but I'm going to do it off camera. Ha ha ha. And so you can do it, and then you can check your work with mine. You can look at mine and see if yours matches mine. All right, So this time we have this number. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do it on your own. And then I'll show you mine. I'm doing it off camera over here, so you can't see me. You can probably hear my little pen scraping. Okay, have you written it yet? Let's see if you got the same thing that I got. So I'm looking at this number first, and I'm covering over this part. I say that 9, N-I-N-E, but it's not worth 9, it's worth 9,000. And then I put the comma. If I cover over this part, I have a 0 there, so I have no hundreds, so I'm just going to say that 56. And I go ahead and I write 56. Okay? All right. We're going to do number 3 together. Now, the way I do number 3 is I make a little chart. And I like to make a little place value chart. So we're taking a written number and we're converting it to standard form, right? So this is going to be my thousands. This is going to be my hundreds. This is going to be my tens. And this is going to be my ones. And then we'll ignore this part. I made it a little bit big. So this is a third grade chart without the 10,000s. So I'm going to go ahead and it's telling me, I'm going to read the written form, and it's telling me 4,109. So here's the thousands place. I'm going to write 4,000, and then I have 100, and I have 9. So the 9 goes in the ones place. So this is what my number looks like in standard form. Making a place value chart takes you 3 seconds, and it really helps you to always get the answer correct. Now I'm going to let you do number 4, and we're going to make a place value chart. This time I'm going to do it with the letters so I don't mess it up. Ha! Okay, so we're going to make a place value chart, and this time you're going to put the numbers on. I'll even read you the numbers because I'm your elbow partner. So our number in word form is 6,012. 6,012. I'll let you write it on your place value chart. 6,012 while I have a little drink of tea. 6,012. All right. Now you can look and see if we got the same answer. So I have 6,000. Here's my comma. I have no hundreds. And then I have just 12 right here. So this goes in the tens place. The 1 goes in the tens place. And the 2 goes in the ones place. All right. Hopefully you got the same answer. Let's do number 5. This time we're doing the number in expanded form. So I have 6,432. And I'm going to write that in expanded form. So that means I'm going to write how much this 6 is worth. And you don't have to draw a picture of the cubes and the waffles and the sticks and the little cheese cubes. In other words, you don't have to draw the picture like they showed you in the book. I'm going to look how much the 6 is worth, and I'm going to put zeros in the rest of these places. So that 6 is worth 6,000. If I add that to the next number, this 4, if I put a 0 here and a 0 here and a 0 here, the 4 is worth 400, right? The 3 is in the tens place, so it's worth 30. The 2 is worth only 2. And if I add all those numbers together, I get 6,432. Right? This number is worth 6,000 plus 400 plus 30 plus 2, and that would give us our number, right? If we added all the place value together, that would give us our whole number. Okay, number 6, you're going to do on your own. Number 6 looks like this: 3,805. You're going to break it apart on your own, and then I will check and see what you got. Hi. Oh, you want me to check it? I don't think it does. I will go check it. No problem. Okay, bye. Teacher Linda just called me to tell me that she left her document camera on. So I'm going to go in a few minutes when we're done with this. I'll go turn her camera off. So let's see if you got what I got. We'll see. This one was kind of a little bit tricky. Let's see if you got the same answer that I got. So I said that this 3 is worth 3,000. This 8 is worth 800. There's nothing in the tens place, so there's no 10 in here. And the 5 is worth 5. If I added 3,000 plus 800 plus 5, I would get 3,805, right? Okay, we're going to do a few more together, and then I'm going to have you do the rest on your own, okay? So we're going to do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we'll do 13, 14, 15, and 16. We'll skip the last one. Okay, so let's look at number 7. It says continue the number pattern. We're going to count by ones, tens, hundreds, or thousands. And we have 5,500. Then we have 5,600. Then we have 5,700. And they're asking us, they're putting a green box next to that, and they're saying, what would come next? Well, if you stack them like this, it's kind of handy to stack numbers because you can see, well, the 5s are all the same. We're not counting by thousands. Looks to me like we're counting by hundreds. So what would the next number be? Well, it would probably be an 8, right? So our next number would be 5,800. Okay? We'll do one more together, and then we'll let you do the next one on your own, and you can check your work. So I'm going to stack it again. Because I like stacking for place value. It's a good strategy to use. Okay, so then they're asking us for the green box, the mysterious green box. So if I look at the thousands place, nothing has changed. If I look at the hundreds place, nothing has changed. If I look at the tens place, nothing has changed. So if my pattern is going to be 7, 8, 9, well, the next is going to be 10. And we're going to have to regroup that, right? So it's going to be 80, right? So I put a little 1 up here because I regrouped it. I knew that when I had 10, I had to exchange and regroup, right? So I end up with 77, 78, 79, 80, right? You can do it like a little kid, and you can get rid of that part because that part doesn't change, right? 77, 78, 79, 80. Booyah. Okay. Number 9, I'm going to stack them up for you, and then you're going to do number 9 on your own. Okay. Once you have it copied down, I'm going to go off camera, over here, and I'm going to try to solve it. And we'll see if you get the same answer. All right, let's see if you got it. So what I did is I looked at the place where the changes are happening. This is the same, this is the same, this is the same. Looks to me like I'm counting by thousands, right? I'm skip counting by 1,000 each time. 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. So my next number would be 8,000. And this would stay the same because it's the same in all of them. We're just counting by thousands. Okay, let's look at, on number 10, 11, and 12, we're going to be looking at the same number, and this is going to be our number. So I'm going to write the same number on all of these because it's telling me that in the book. Okay, so let's look at number 10. It says the digit 6 is in the blank place, and we have a green box. So what place value? Well, I can be sneaky and do this. This is the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, right? So they're asking us what place value, or what the digit 6 is in the what's place, and the answer is hundreds. You can always make a place value chart. It takes 2 seconds to do that, and it really helps to make sure that you get the correct answer. Also, it's really good practice so that you understand place value better. Okay, let's look at number 11. The value of the digit 5 is green box. So before I take this off camera, because I'm your elbow partner, I'm going to make a place value chart to help you. Okay, so it says the value of the digit 5 is what? What value does that have? I'm going to take it off camera, and I'm going to write my answer. So value means how much is that 5 worth? All right. My answer that I got as your elbow partner is 5,000. This 5 is not just worth 5, it's in the thousands place. So it has to be worth 5,000. All right, let's look at number 12, the last one. The digit 2 stands for, what does this stand for? Well, it stands for, it's in the, this is the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. It stands for 2 tens, right? Or 20, right? Because 2 times 10 is the same thing as 20. All right. Now, when we're comparing numbers, they want to see how well you can compare numbers. So we're going to do, as your elbow partner, I'm going to do 13 and 14 with you, and then I'm going to leave you to do 15 and 16 on your own. Okay? And I'm going to go turn off Teacher Linda's document camera because I'm nice like that. So here we go. We're going to look at 13. It says, which is greater? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a place value chart and line them up. So this is going to be thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. So here we go. We have 3,819, and the next number is 3,918. And they're asking us which one is greater. So I start over here at my left. Both of these are threes, they're the same. Then I move over. Is 8 greater than 9 or is 9 greater than 8? And the answer is this guy's greater, right? Because it has a 9, it has a larger number in the hundreds place. So my answer, you can just circle your answer and I'll know that that's what the answer you had. Let's do on 14. We said I was going to do 14 with you, and then I'm going to go check on the document camera. So I have thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. And they're asking us which is less this time. So I have 7,052. And I have 936. So I know immediately which one is smaller because this one has nothing over here, right? It has invisible 0. And I know that 7 is greater than nothing. So I immediately know that this one is going to be lesser, right? It's less than 7,052. If I said, hey, I'm going to give you either $936 or $7,052, you would say, I want this amount of money because it's greater. It's a lot greater. Okay, I'm going to let you do 15 and 16 on your own. 15, you're comparing the numbers. Remember to stack them and use a place value chart. 16, you're going to find the number pattern and then you're going to state the rule, right? Pretty easy stuff. So you guys are going to do 15 and 16 on your own. I'm your elbow partner, but I'm ditching you so that I can go turn off the document camera. All right. Good luck.